What's going on, guys? It is JSnake here, and today, guys, I am bringing you another video. And in this video, we're actually going to be talking about Battlefield 5 and the things that I am most excited for. Now, keep in mind, guys, I'm not necessarily changing my stance on the game from my other videos, but even with all the shortcomings and all of the controversy with Battlefield 5, there are still some things that I am excited DICE is bringing to the table, and you guys probably already know this. Even though, like I said, I've been very critical of the game, I'm still going to be getting it, and I'm actually going to be getting it early. So it's not like I'm just completely boycotting the Battlefield series, but I'm not happy with it at all. But like I said, there are a few things that I'm still excited for. Anyways, guys, before we actually get into the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel with those post notifications turned on so you can be notified every single time I do upload a new video. But with that being said, guys, let's get into this video. Now, the first thing that I think I am most excited for, or at least definitely it's up on the top of my list, is the improved soldier movement. Now, obviously, Battlefield 5 is taking huge leaps and bounds in terms of actual movement and mobility with the actual soldier, like the actual infantry-based soldier, and this is really going to create some very interesting gameplay experiences. Now, when I say soldier movement, this actually entails a lot of things. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking like actual movements, like stances and stuff that you're able to do in the game, but I'm talking about a lot of things, and one of the things that I'm very excited for, obviously, yes, is the stances, but is also that, you know, when you move through the environment, it will change depending on, you know, what you're actually doing, how you're actually moving. And you're probably kind of confused by this, but a good example of this is that if you're moving through tall grass, the vegetation will move around you. It's not just going to, you know, either do nothing or, you know, kind of move in this generic way out of the way. It will move how you're moving. If you're sprinting, you know, it's obviously going to probably not move as wide because, you know, you're kind of, when you're sprinting, you're not necessarily as wide as you would be if you're kind of just normally running or normally jogging. And it's just, you know, it's a small thing, but it's really, first of all, going to provide some tactical advantages, because let's say you're a sniper and you're prone in the grass or something like that. The grass is not just going to be completely wide open like you'd see in some other games. It's going to definitely be, you know, kind of more concealed, and you're going to obviously have a better stealth advantage over your opponents. Stuff like that, just these little additions, makes the game so much better than it may seem. Obviously, the stances are being incredibly improved upon, and we are talking about a ton of new movements that you'd see in a game like Arma 3. I mean, you can now sit down, you turn on your back as you are prone. Like, it is insane the amount of new movements. Obviously, there's like the tuck and roll or the barrel roll when you're jumping out of a tall building. There is so much new stuff in terms of the actual soldier movement coming to Battlefield 5. It's something you've never really seen in an FPS game, let alone one on a console. Now, some notable exceptions, obviously, you know, Arma 3 is one of them, but I'm not going to consider Arma 3 and Battlefield in the same bracket. Battlefield is not anything near to what Arma 3 is. Pretty much the only similarities I'd say that Arma 3 and the Battlefield series have is that, you know, they're both about military and fighting. Really, other than that, it's nothing. And to see an FPS game, you know, like this, an arcade FPS game, introduce these new movements, these movements you would not expect to see on a game like this, it's just incredible to me, and I am very excited to be playing with them, because there's, you know, a lot of different interactable environment things that are coming to the game, and these are just going to help you kind of adapt and evolve with the interactive environment. The next thing that I have to say I'm very excited for is the fact that gunplay is being incredibly improved upon, and the removal of random bullet deviation. Now, in Battlefield 5, where you aim is where you're going to shoot. Now, this will always be true in Battlefield 5, obviously, except for, you know, bullet drop from very long distances. That's obvious, and, you know, if they just had the bullets going completely straight, then that would ruin the game more than it would help the game. But random bullet deviation in Battlefield 1 was incredibly annoying, and the fact that they're removing it is awesome. Weapon handling has been given a huge overhaul, just pretty much in general, all designed to crank up the immersion. For LMGs, for instance, you'll find it easier to go in and out of the bipod positioning than some other gun like an AR. And DICE is also bringing back bullet penetration in a bigger way. If you're wielding an LMG or a stationary weapon or something, you know, similar to that, like a static weapon, and you see an enemy kind of dashing to cover, you just start ripping it and shooting the gun, and if they'll keep firing, you'll eventually tear the wall or the fence down. So it's not like the bullets are just going to kind of go through the walls. We're talking the wall's actually going to come down, because if you guys, you know, obviously have any connection to anything in real life, reality, hello, then you'll know that if you're shooting a big ass machine gun or an MG at a wall, unless the wall is like titanium or, some crazy metal, then it's most likely going to come down. Wood, brick, stone, it's not going to last against an LMG. It's eventually going to come down, and the fact that you're just going to be able to tear through a wall not only gives the support class a big advantage, which is one of the most played classes in the Battlefield series, but it's just going to look so badass, and it's going to be so cool, and obviously this kind of goes along with that new and more interactive environment. The third thing I do want to talk about that I am very excited for is kind of the destruction levels just ramped up completely. Destruction's obviously been a key component of the Battlefield series pretty much forever, since its inception with 1942, even to a degree. And Battlefield 5's only following the formula, but kind of amping it up a ton of levels. Pretty much everything in Battlefield 5 is destructible, and this includes natural things too, like trees, or like actually just bombing the ground. You'll see holes, debris will be flying around, and pretty much every building is destructible to a certain degree. I'm sure not every single building obviously is not going to fall to the ground, but it's going to be damn near close, and the buildings that do still stand up, it's just going to be pretty much their foundation. They're basically going to be, pretty much in shambles, and that's going to be cool because you're just going to notice not only that, you're able to destroy much more stuff and you're able to get to more people and, you're able to kill more people, but you're going to notice the map change over time, and you're going to notice the effect that, the war or the battle has had on the area you're fighting in, and it's just going to just add such a unique and cool experience, because obviously destruction in video games is pretty hard to actually kind of code and develop and everything. It's hard to make it, visually appealing. It's hard to make it actually work. It's just very hard to pull off, basically. And Battlefield's always been good at it, but from what we've seen in trailers and gameplay and pretty much everything of what the devs have said, destruction is going to be so much better with Battlefield 5, and I am damn excited. I mean, with Battlefield 4, we obviously had Levolution, and with Battlefield 1, it kind of had more of a Battlefield 3 style, where pretty much everything was destructible to a degree, but now in Battlefield 5, it's literally going to feel like you are in an apocalypse, like a bunch of meteorites are crashing into buildings and stuff. It's going to be chaotic, it's going to be crazy, but it's going to be super fun at that, and that honestly is probably the thing I'm most excited for, because just imagine with Battlefield 5's graphics, you're running through a town and you just see buildings falling down on the sides of you, or you see just a V2 rocket just completely obliterate a building to the left of you, or something like that. It's cool, and then you see debris flying around. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna look amazing. The Frostbite engine is obviously one of the best out there in terms of this kind of theme, and obviously I am very excited for this aspect. Like I said, probably the most excited thing for me is the destruction and the kind of improvements upon the destruction in this game. Now, a few things that I'm a little bit iffy on is the attrition system and the fortification system. And the reason I am iffy on the attrition system is because I feel like it's just going to be too tedious. I'm really hoping that it's not too effective with the gameplay. In theory, it's cool, but it's going to be very annoying. I mean, for me playing Black Ops 4, just playing core, you have to basically run scavenger, otherwise you're going to run out of ammo, you're going to have to pick up someone else's gun. I mean, it's one of those things that just gets annoying. I mean, I know, we're trying to focus on real life here, but it's a video game, come on. Like, it's annoying. It's a very annoying thing. I can already tell I'm going to have some issues with the attrition system. It was a little bit annoying, just with the beta. I felt like the ammo and everything wasn't the best. But, hopefully it's pretty balanced and it's not going to be too effective, and it might just have minimal effect at most. Then again, if it's pulled off correctly, it's obviously going to add something you don't really see in other games. A constantly evolving and changing attrition system. That's something that could be cool, but it sounds very tedious and annoying. And the other kind of feature, this new addition to the game that I'm not necessarily too on board with, not because I don't like it, but because I feel like it's not really going to have too much of an effect, is the fortification system. Now, before you get angry at me, listen, I feel like the fortifications aren't going to be like stupid or overpowered or something. It's kind of the opposite. I feel like they're just not going to really be a focus. I feel like people are going to completely avoid them, and every once in a while you'll obviously have something built, maybe some sandbag walls put up or something like that. but I feel like it's just not gonna be like too much of an important factor. People are gonna be too focused on trying to kill each other or trying to cap a flag or something like that. And building fortifications in a few things would be good, like the operations mode or something like that. It'd be good temporarily, but it's just gonna become obsolete so fast. I feel like fortifications are just not going to be good enough, and that's not because I think the way they did it is bad. It's just because the fact that it's just the genre we're in. If this was like another game, like a slower paced game like Project Argo or Arma 3 or Squad or something like that, then maybe fortifications work well in them, and I play those games and I know they work well. But Battlefield is a game I do not play in any way, shape, or form similar to Squad or Arma, so I don't think I'm going to really care too much about fortifications. And they're going to change some situations, but for the most part I feel like they're just going to be useless, but hopefully I'm wrong. Anyways guys, that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you do hit that like button and you do share the video. It really does help. Guys, let me know what you think about these features that I did talk about, or let me know about some features that I didn't mention in this video. I always love reading through your comments. You guys leave some really cool comments, and like I said, it's fun to read through them. But regardless guys, I hope you all have a good day, and peace.